Welcome to Unit 10, Study Guide Review for the final for Algebra 2-2, Unit 10. This will be the second day of Finals Week. In Unit 10, you really need to be familiar with all the formats of the plus or minus a. We had square root, that's the first problem, so I'll show it that way. X minus h plus k. And I can see that they're talking about domain and range. So remember from your project, some of you didn't get this on the project, that's why you lost some points. But the k is your up-down shift, and this shape is going like this. If we move the graph up, and it's a positive, then y is going to be greater than or equal to k. Because it's a positive out front, it's that shape. Now, if it's a negative out front and it flips it this way, then y is less than your k value. Make sure you understand that. Otherwise, go to those notes and really study that and graph them. So my k value, I don't know why, other than the fact that you need to transform it, it was put on the front. Move it to the back. Because you know it's a positive out here, then you know that it's going to be y is greater than 6. So we go to our range, y is greater than or equal to 6, that one's good. Y is greater than or equal to 6, that one's good. This one is not. And this one is not. In fact, that one could have been eliminated before we even started, because none of the square roots would be all real numbers. So those two are eliminated. Now we look at our x. Which way does this shift it? Remember, negative h goes to the right 3. So it would move it over to the right 3. And regardless of whether there's a negative out front or not, your domain is always x, for this one, greater than or equal to your h value. Okay, not your negative h, remember? That negative is in the formula. So just h value, my h value is 3, so it's this one. Graph that if you have to. And you should be very familiar with graphing in that one. Okay, which statement describes the end behavior of this graph? Well, this is a square root again. This is negative. End behaviors we really talked about in Algebra 2-1. We need to come back to them. It's how it acts at the end of it. So this is a negative, and we have a shift to the left 5. So as x approaches infinity, as x goes this way towards positive infinity, your graph is coming down. It's going to keep going down, isn't it? So your y, or your f of x, is approaching, going down, negative infinity. Okay? So as x approaches positive infinity, y approaches negative infinity. As x approaches positive infinity, y doesn't approach positive. That would be up there. So that one's out. We don't have x approaching negative infinity. Those two could be out right away because the graph's going this way. It starts right there. So that and that are out because it doesn't approach negative infinity. Okay. Next problem. Let's look at our graph first. It's a square root again. I don't know if I actually give you this many square roots on the final, but you need to be aware of your shifting for the final. This one's going to go right 3. And it has a positive out there, so it should be that shape, that general shape. If we look down here, this one's turned completely a different way, and this one's turned completely a different way. So really all you have to do is look at the shift here. This is right 3, this is left 3, and double check. That was right 3, so that one's right. Okay, again, look those over. Okay, next one. It says that we want to translate 8 units left. Left means plus inside of there. Down 3 units. That means minus on the outside, minus 3. Now just add them. Still have the negative 3 out front. Radical. X, 8 and 4 would be 12. Negative 3 and negative 6, negative 9. Okay, so all of these have negative 3 out front. Only one of them has a positive 12 in there. This has positive 8, that's out. This one has the correct. This one didn't shift at all, hardly. So that's where we get it. Over to the next one. Translate the graph for this cube root. Now remember, cube root looks like the square root going that way, and then it comes this way. Now it's going to be 2 units up. Remember, this would be on the origin. So let's go down to our graphs first thing. This one is the right shape, going like that. So that one is still in. This one is completely wrong. It is a cube function. Back in Algebra 2-1 you had that. This one, that is the cube root shape, but look at what they've done. They've flipped it. Brings that down, brings that up. That's that one. That one's out. And I would put that it's a negative cube root so that I know you're thinking. And this one is another cube root. Now if you want to be right on these cube roots, they're both negatives. Okay? They're going backwards of the parent function in that. Okay, describe the domain and range. Again, domain will be that x, see this is an exponential, so it's a growth, so it's going to be going up like this. So remember that your domain left to right is always all real numbers. So it should be negative infinity, positive infinity. And remember that our range is y is greater than, since it's a positive, our k value, which is negative 6. Now in this particular problem I shouldn't put equals to because it's got the asymptote, so it won't touch that 6, that negative 6. So here we go, domain, infinity, infinity, but then our range is infinity, infinity. That causes that one to be wrong. Here, domain is restricted, that causes that to be wrong. Here it's not restricted, we have the low point is negative 6, high point is greater than, would be a positive infinity, that one should be right. And here we have the domain restricted, so that one's out. Okay, always eliminate when it's multiple choice, please. Which equation is represented by this graph? Well, our y value, just looking at this, it's got a y value, or a k value I should say, because that's your asymptote. Your k value equals positive 1. This is a negative 1. That's a negative 1. Those two are out. Now what's the difference between these? This one has a stretch of 3. This one has a stretch of 2. This one says that it shifted to the right 2. This one says right 3. So we have to go back to remembering our parent function. I told you on the exponential, the key spot is right there. That's what I consider the vertex, because on the parent function, remember, it passes through right there, right at 0, 1. So in order to find where this is moved to, we look for where it's crossing the hatch mark. It's right there. So it has gone 1, 2, 3 to the right and up 2. 3 to the right, and it's stretched by 2. That's the one. This one says to the right 2. That would mean that it had to be right here. Okay, or actually up here because it's stretched by 3. Make sure you get those. Go back to the unit if you're struggling. I'm not teaching it here, I'm just reviewing it. Okay, last one for Unit 10. We have another exponential. Now this time, because of the fraction, Remember, it's a decay, so it's going to be going down like this. Do all of our graphs do that? This one seems to go down that way. This one does. This one does, but what's wrong with our asymptote? Remember, exponential functions only have a horizontal asymptote. So this one's out because of the asymptote. And this one is out not only because of the asymptote, but we've got this flipped over the y-axis, which we didn't do in this unit. We didn't show you that at all. You could figure it out now that you know about inverses and such. Okay, and logs. Okay, here we go. Up on these two, let's distinguish between them. This one is crossing the hatch mark there. And remember the parent function, it would have been right here. So it's been moved to the right 3 and been stretched up 2. On this one, it's right here. And there's the parent function, is it 1 there? Well, the parent function actually, without being moved up, it would be at that 1. So this one is just simply being moved to the left 4. Let's see. Right 4 and up 1. Let me see. Right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right 3. Ooh, I messed you guys up on this one. Let me go back to doing my parent function. See what's happened, and I'm just going to help you step through it in case on the test you get stumped. This one went left 4, but I know that that should be a plus 4, so I'm totally off there. I've got to go back and see which one am I off on now. I'm guessing I made a mistake here because this one definitely went left, and that shows me right. So I've got to figure out, in my parent function, it would go right through this spot. Oh, and right here, it would go over 4, up 1. So I missed my mark up there. I wanted to come down to a lower one because this is the shape of the parent. So it's gone over 4, up 1. That one is correct. Right 4 and up 1. Whew. Remember, we learn a lot more by our mistakes. So good luck studying that one.